It's Tuesday, April 8th, right now on 12 News at 10.
I'm Chase Golightly in Phoenix, where the police chief just announced that he's stepping down. What we know coming up.
I'm Bianca Bono in Phoenix, where Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem addressed a border conference. Tonight, we're getting an update on immigration enforcement operations in Arizona.
Also ahead, day 2 of Lori Vallow Daybell's murder conspiracy trial. We'll recap the biggest moments from the courtroom.
I'm meteorologist Chris Dunn, tracking a weather trend that will give us our first taste of triple-digit temps this year, so get ready.
12 News at 10 with Mark Curtis and Caribe Divine starts now.
New tonight, Phoenix Interim Police Chief Michael Sullivan just announced that he is stepping down from his position and withdrawing his name for the permanent chief role. Good evening and thanks so much for joining us. For 12 News at 10, I'm Caribe Divine.
I'm Mark Curtis. Sullivan was one of 4 finalists for the job, and now the city says they're starting from scratch. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly is live just outside Phoenix PD headquarters tonight. Chase, do we know why the city is starting over again when we know there are 3 other candidates going for the job?
Mark Caribe, the city was supposed to make a final decision this month on who would become the next police chief. But they tell us that because Sullivan is withdrawing his name and stepping down, the city believes the best way to move forward is just to completely restart this recruitment process. Just last month, all 4 finalists fighting to become Phoenix's next police chief spoke directly to the community about why they are the best fit for the job.
I'm the only candidate that you will hear from tonight who has been a police chief,
including current interim police chief Michael Sullivan, who has held the position for close to 3 years. But on Tuesday, Sullivan announced he is withdrawing his name from consideration and stepping down as interim chief. His last day with the department will be on April 18th. In a news release from the city of Phoenix, it writes that Sullivan believes this is what's best for the police department and for the city. It included a statement from Sullivan that says, quote, "Throughout my tenure, I've worked diligently to navigate that process while focusing on crime reduction, strengthening community trust, and building a culture of continuous improvement. I'm incredibly proud of the progress we've made as a department and the dedication demonstrated by our officers and staff." With decades of law enforcement experience, Sullivan became interim chief in 2022. At a time when the department was under investigation by the Department of Justice for using excessive force and discriminating against minorities. In response, Sullivan made reforms to training and use of force policies for officers. The city said under Sullivan's leadership, crime went down year over year. The interim chief did receive pushback from his own officers. According to a survey released by the Phoenix Law Enforcement Association, hundreds of members said they have no confidence in Sullivan. The city announced with Sullivan leaving, they are restarting their search for a permanent chief despite having 3 other finalists who made it this far. The city will start taking applications on April 11th. In the meantime, Executive Assistant Chief Dennis Orinder will take over as interim chief. Now, we did reach out to those 3 other candidates. 2 of them are assistant chiefs currently here with the police departments in the Valley. By this time, we have not heard a response. We did also reach out to a spokesperson for the police department, either for a statement or an interview to talk about Sullivan stepping down. But at this time, we also haven't heard a response. We're live in Phoenix tonight. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
All right, Chase, thanks. Avondale police have arrested an Arizona veteran for allegedly threatening to blow up a mosque. 37-year-old Michael Hansen is facing charges of making terrorist threats and disorderly conduct after an incident that happened last March. Police were called to the West Valley Islamic Center by a man saying he needed to be, quote, talked down. Officers found Hansen in the parking lot where he told police he had been watching the movie American Sniper and then looked up the nearest mosque to his home. We have more details about the case right now on our website, 12news.com.
Several members of President Trump's administration were here in the Valley today, including Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. She spoke at the Border Security Expo happening at the Phoenix Convention Center after riding along with ICE agents this morning. 12 News journalist Bianca Bono was there for her speech, and she is joining us live outside the Convention Center tonight. And Bianca, what did Noem have to say?
Well, Secretary Noem's speech was very interesting. It was certainly the main event here at this border expo today, but this conference has drawn in so many other government and law enforcement leaders. We had the opportunity to speak with some of them specifically about immigration enforcement efforts here in Arizona. Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem in Phoenix, addressing a packed ballroom at the Border Security Expo.
I understand that I may be the first Homeland Security Secretary to attend this conference.
The two-day conference bringing together government and law enforcement leaders and those in the private sector hoping to secure government deals.
Give us new ideas that we can be partners going forward.
Noem's speech coming hours after riding along on an ICE enforcement operation in the Valley.
Today they're letting me roll with them.
Where 3 people were apprehended.
Those individuals were already on our target deck. It wasn't for the fact that she was coming into town.
Francisco Barola is the special agent in charge for Homeland Security investigations in Arizona.
All had a criminal record or gang affiliation, and then you start going into the foreign terrorist organizations and things of that nature.
Barola sat alongside other Arizona leaders in immigration enforcement. Lupe Ramirez, the director of field operations for CBP's Tucson field office, and the chief border patrol agent of the Tucson sector, Sean McGoffin. They gave new insight into the success of what's called Operation Safeguard, the plan under President Trump to detain and deport those in the United States illegally.
Those are individuals that have been identified as being previously ordered removed.
Barola says in Arizona, HSI has 8 teams going out daily.
Under Operation Safeguard, we have approximately 808 arrests in the state of Arizona.
Enforcement operations like the one Noem witnessed in Phoenix drawing some backlash.
You seen this picture?
Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego critical of the way Noem handled the firearm.
You have to assume every weapon is loaded, and you're pointing that weapon directly at that guy's head.
And what he claims is a lack of due process for those being deported.
You continue to deport innocent men and women that have rights to stay here.
Law enforcement leaders, though, say their operations will continue.
We're doing operations 24/7.
And under Operation Safeguard, HSI Arizona Special Agent in Charge tells us they have a list of about 700,000 people nationwide that they are targeting. We're live in Phoenix. Bianca Bono, 12 News.
All right, Bianca, thank you. Meanwhile, Trump-appointed border czar Tom Homan was also in the Valley today, delivering a speech in front of a joint session of the Arizona legislature. Homan claimed that border crossings are down 94% in the last 3 months. He also spoke about deportation, saying that while ICE is prioritizing convicted criminals and national security threats, anyone who is in the country illegally is on the table for deportation. Just as Homan started speaking, several Democrats walked out of the room, raising white pieces of paper over their heads with the names of people who they believe have disappeared in ICE custody.
We held up these signs to make sure that Homan raised the names of the people he is impacting, the families he is destroying, the people who are dying under these deportation orders. Homan is not welcome in the state of Arizona.
In response to the absence of the Arizona Democrats, Homan said they, quote, made his day and that he, quote, loves the haters.
All right, well, maybe you love the heat. Maybe you love the triple digits, because if you do, you're going to love this week. If you don't, sorry. Chris, it's here.
Yeah, we're going to talk about some high heat for this time of the year. And one of the reasons why we have a weather impact alert is because of this unusually strong high pressure ridge and unusually high temperatures. In fact, record highs are in the forecast Thursday, Friday, and Saturday afternoons. You want to stay hydrated. We're not used to this heat at this point in the season. Sure, it'd be nothing to even blink at if it was June, July, August. But 100 degrees at this time of the year, we're setting records. 100 will tie the record on Thursday, 102 on Friday. That'll blow by the record of 99, and 100 on Saturday, also setting a new record high. So typically we hit our first 100 of the year, if we average it all together, over a 30-year average, May 2nd. That's when we would typically see 100. So we're just a couple of weeks early. The earliest, March 26th. Remember, back on March 25th of this year, we almost hit it. We hit a high of 99. So we're still waiting on that first 100. We'll be awfully close tomorrow. 97 in Phoenix, 97 in Goodyear, 95 in Queen Creek. Back with the rest of the numbers and your forecast and why we're so unusually warm. Coming up a little bit later on.
All right, Chris, thanks. New at 10, a controversial $43 million roundabout in Scottsdale has been chopped by the city council. In a 4-3 vote, the council decided to scrap the project at Scottsdale Road and Dynamite. The community was split over the change, but now with new council members and a new mayor, the city reversed course and instead will upgrade the traffic lights at that intersection. The problem is construction on the roundabout had already started using $31 million in federal funding. Tonight, with this decision, the city could potentially lose that money. The council will now request that those federal funds be used for other projects, but that change has to be approved by a county agency. Tonight, we're seeing more of Doomsday Mom Lori Vallow Daybell's demeanor after day 2 of testimony in her murder conspiracy trial. She's already been convicted of killing her children in Idaho. Now she's standing trial for conspiring to kill her former husband, Charles Vallow, in Chandler. The I-Team's Erica Stapleton was in the courtroom today and has some of the biggest moments.
A lot of Tuesday's testimony was all about CPR, and that goes back to Lori's brother, Alex Cox. Cox shot Charles Vallow back in 2019, and the prosecutor said that Lori and her brother conspired to kill him. We know from our past reporting that when Alex Cox did call 911, the person on the line gave him instructions to perform CPR. So far, we've heard from 2 first responders with the Chandler Fire Department who testified that no one performed CPR on Charles's body until after they arrived. But Lori Vallow Daybell, who is representing herself, said her brother acted in self-defense. Her cross-examinations tried to cast doubt on the first responders' testimony.
Based upon your training, your experience, what you observed and what was done to Mr. Vallow, would you agree that it was highly unlikely that anyone had performed CPR on Charles Vallow prior to fire arriving?
Yes.
In this case, Captain Keller, do you know for a fact that CPR had not been given?
I do not know for a fact.
Lori's brother, Alex Cox, can't be charged in this case because he died before charges were filed. In the afternoon, we heard from a detective with the Chandler Police Department who helped walk through the crime scene and shared testimony that poked holes in Vallow Daybell's self-defense claims. Before court ended Tuesday, the judge warned Vallow Daybell that she could not make remarks after her cross-examinations like she's been doing. We're expecting court to resume Wednesday with her cross-examination of that Chandler detective. Erica Stapleton, 12 News.
All right, Erica, thank you. And you can watch the entire trial every day exclusively on 12+. Just download the app on your TV right now, and you can watch for free. And every night at 8:30, we will also have in-depth analysis about what happens inside the courtroom. Again, that is exclusively on the 12 News streaming app 12+.